Alright, in this video we're going to be talking about algorithms. Algorithms can be kind of an ambiguous thing. They can be used to calculate the distance between several points, figure out which way is faster. It can be used to determine what products are the cheapest across a range of websites, but in this case we're just going to be using it to disguise a password or to hide a password. Alright. In a previous design, actually this code that we're looking at right here, it was originally a little bit more complex. We used binary numbers to hide the actual user password. But to start out with, we're just going to hit it in 4 simple steps. We're going to take a simpler approach. So the objective for this video is to show you how to take a user password, split the password up character by character, change all the letters to numbers, and then print the numbers with no delineation. So plain text English word comes in and a series of numbers come out. Not saying that it's going to be hard to decipher even without a computer, but the general idea for creating the algorithm is there. You're going to basically develop a process to do something. In this case, it's going to be to change a password into, or a plain text password into a series of numbers. All right. So I'm going to start with this. This is a script I've actually already started modifying for this, but we're just going to kind of go through it and explain what it does. You'll see me repeat a lot of my notes here, but hopefully it'll help you to understand how it works. So I'm intentionally not providing the code on this. Hopefully you will be able to see it on the screen. You can type along with me as we go through it. Okay, so first off, we are not creating the HTML side of this. We're not creating a user form yet, so we're not actually collecting a password from anybody. So what we're going to do to kind of simulate the password data is create a variable called password and put the word something in it, which is basically going to represent the user's password. Okay. So the first step after that is going to be to basically split up the password and analyze it character by character. I say analyze it, but to store it character by character. So the way we're going to do this is we are going to use the strsplit command, and we're going to put the password in an array. So what the array will allow us to do is to split it up letter by letter, putting the S in an indice, the O in an indice, M, E, so on and so forth. Now, with your learning in Solo Learn, should have already completed that, as well as the global method evaluation, so you should already be familiar with these commands. In the strsplit command, this of course is what we're looking at, and this number here represents the fact that we're looking at character by character. That's what the 1 represents. Had that been a 2, it would split it up. SO would be in one indice, ME would be in the other, every 2 characters essentially. And then if that was a 3, it would be SOM, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're splitting it up and we're putting it in something called a password array. And just to kind of show you how that works, we're just going to kind of copy this first portion and put it into PHP tester. PHP tester, you should already be familiar with it. It's just like a really quick place to jump into and roll out and test your code. Oh, what am I missing here? Oh, I'm missing my prints. Okay. So, of course, if we want to do that, if we want to see anything, we have to print it out. So we're going to do a print underscore R, and then we want to print the password array to see what's actually in there and what comes out here. So we'll print the password array and hit it, and here we go. So what was a word something is now broken up into S, O, M, E, so on and so forth. And every letter has been attached to an indice, S to 0, so on and so forth. Okay, great. But next we have to make a key. So what number will each letter get? Okay, so we are going to make a key, make it simple. We're just going to say letter A can be 0, B can be 1, C can be 2, so on and so forth, all the way up to Z. To make that easy, we're going to use the range command, and we're going to range A to Z, which what this will do is this will create an array called alphas and put the letters A through Z in it, splitting it up indice by indice. So we add this command, and if we print that out, and that one is alphas. So once we print this out, we should see two arrays and one that contains the whole alphabet. One that contains the word something, and then the other contains the alphabet. Now, this is kind of jammed together, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some separation using HTML command, a line break. And we're actually going to use 3 of them, 3 line breaks. Drop them in there, so now we'll see some separation. This is the array that has the word something, and this is the array that has all the letters of the alphabet. Okay. Now, I could go through and say that every letter is going to get a more sophisticated code, which I have done in a previous algorithm. However, in this one, for learning purposes, we're going to keep it simple and say that A equals 0, B equals 1, so on and so forth. And coincidentally, but not so coincidentally, this aligns with the indice number that it was placed in. Okay, that was by decision, not by accident. In reality, you can design it any way you want to. A could be a very long string of numbers and letters. It could be binary. It could be anything in hex. It could be whatever you want it to be. You get to decide. It's your algorithm. However, for the first one, we're going to keep it simple. Okay. So we have 2 arrays that we built. This is important. One with the password, one with the key, because now this is a key. It has A for 0, B for 1, etc. So now we have to compare the password to the key. So for that, and I'm going to get rid of these right now, and we'll add them later. Okay, so with this for each loop, we're cycling through the password array, which is the word something broken up in indices. So when the S hits, it's going to run through everything from this bracket to this bracket. And right now we're just doing an echo using the array search. So we're searching the array alphas with each letter in the password array, the something. So anytime there's a hit, like anytime it finds the S, it's going to say, okay, there's the S. The S is associated with 18, print 18. So it prints the number 18. Then it's going to do the O. The O, it is associated with 14, so it prints the 14. The M associated with 12, so it prints the 12, so on and so forth. So it's printing the indice number for every matching letter that it finds when it compares this array letter by letter to this entire thing. So it's matching and it's printing. That's what the echo does. So this just kind of tells us that it's working properly. All right. So what we're going to do now is I think I'm just going to tuck this in a variable. So I'm going to take this array search. I don't need the HTML, which I've joined here. The dot is a join or concatenation function to put PHP and HTML together in an echo or in a print or whatever. But I'm going to take the output of this and I'm going to stick it in a variable, and then I'm going to push it in an array. I think that's how I'm going to do it. There might be an easy way to do it, but let's just call it temp. So temp's going to equal that array search function, which basically would be the 18 and the 14. So every time it goes through one of the letters, it puts it in temp. Now, here's where we need to kind of get it out of temp and put it to something else, because every time it circles through the for each loop from here to here, it's going to wipe out what was there before and replace it with something new. So before that happens, we need to push it to our final array, which should be our last number. So we'll do a push, and I'm going to steal this one, array push right there. Oh, we'll go back to that one. So we'll do our array push. And what this will do is for every time it's going through a letter, before this temp gets wiped out by the next revolution iteration, we're going to get it out of that variable and store it. Okay, so we're going to push onto list. Actually, let's call it final. And I don't know if we need to declare it. I'll wait for an error to see if we need to. So I'm going to push, what are we using? We're using count. onto final. All right, so let's see if it gives me an error or warning or anything. Okay, let's see. Expects one parameter to be an array. Array push final onto final count. All right, so it's giving me a warning, not really an error, but let's make sure that it is working, and then I'll see if I can clear that warning. So print P, we're going to print the final. Just see if it wins. Print P, haha. Print R. All right, let's try that. Print R final. Okay, that's not working. So let me clear that warning, or see if we can clear that warning, and then we'll address why it's not working. So I suspect that maybe it's having an issue with the fact that I didn't declare this. So I'm going to declare it, and I'm going to say final equals an array with nothing in it. All right, so we cleared the warning. Okay, so let's see what's going on. So we got array 1, which is our first print. We got alphas, which is our key. We're echoing the array search, which is the number, the indice numbers 18, 14, 12, 4, etc. But then what's going on here? Because what I'm pushing on to seems to be the letters, and I don't want that. What I want is the temp. So I'm hoping you guys caught that before just then, but that should be the fix. Okay. So now, since I was putting count on, we were using count to cycle through the letters. What I needed to do was use temp. All right, because temp equals the indices. All right, so now that I'm pushing temp onto the final, when I print the final, I'm getting the actual numbers that you see here in the array, 18, 14, 12, 4, 19. Well, why does that matter? Because now that I have it there and I have an array that just has the numbers, I can crush it using an implode and turn it back into a normal string. Okay, so after we print the final, we're going to echo it into a string, and just to make it easier to read, we're going to do some more echo br tags. And believe it or not, we are just about at the end. Easy stuff, right? Okay, so let's run it, and there it is. So this is our encrypted password, which is just simply 18, 14, 12, 4, 19, all run together. So password comes in, and actually let's clean it up. I say clean it up, but let's do something like this. Echo old password, and that'll be $. And what did we call it up here? Password. And then we will do new password. And because it's an implode function, I'm going to use the join, so I can bridge the PHP with the echo command and run it. And so old password was something. New password is 18141241978136136. All right. So again, with a computer, it's probably something that's going to be easy to crack. With just the naked eye, probably not so much. And just to show you how this algorithm works, now you can change the something to something else. And you see our number here. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to change. It's going to get longer. And there we go. Here's our new password. It's longer because it's encrypting the something as well as the else. So if you want a really, really long number, you can do something else again. And run it. And now we should have a really long number. There we go. Something else again. So this is... oh, that's lovely. How long was that there? I gotta love Google Ads. Okay, so this is something that my hope is that it will give you the base idea of how algorithms work. How you have a word, you manipulate it and you change it into something else. MD5, Shaw algorithms, they're much more complicated than that. However, this should put you in the mindset that you can really do anything with your key or with what you associate your letters to. You can make it case sensitive, case insensitive. You can do probably a million different things. So, again, you will turn this one in for an assignment. I need to see this algorithm work that you followed me, or that you were able to follow me. And then the next one, you need to create your own. And then we're going to pass them around and see if we can crack each other's algorithms. All right. So, with that, I wish you good luck. I hope this video was easy to understand. And don't forget to turn in the assignments.